All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're tackling a massive question, one that every entrepreneur has to face. How do you actually define success? We're going to flip the script on the usual answers and try to build a much more intentional way of looking at it.
So let's just start with this. I want you to really think about it for a second. When you first dreamed this thing up, your business was supposed to be a tool, right? A vehicle to get you to a certain kind of life. Is it still doing that?
Because this is the trap, isn't it? The business takes on a life of its own, it starts demanding more and more, and before you know it, you're just another employee. You're serving its needs, the endless hours, the constant firefighting, instead of it serving yours. The whole reason you started gets completely buried.
And this, right here, this is the core of the whole problem. On the left, you've got the default setting for almost everyone. More profit. It's the easy thing to chase for sure. But on the right, that's what we're aiming for today. True alignment. That's when your business, your personal life, and what you actually care about are all moving in the same direction. So how do we actually get that alignment? Well, it starts way, way earlier than most people think. In fact, probably the most important work you'll do happens before you've even made a single dollar. See, here's the catch. If you wait until the money starts rolling in, it's probably too late. The day-to-day chaos takes over, and all the external pressures start calling the shots. You have to set your destination before the ship even leaves the harbor, you know? Back when your original intention is still crystal clear.
I love this quote. It's such a powerful way to reframe everything. We go into business expecting it to make money. I mean, if we didn't, it would just be an expensive hobby. But that expectation, that's not your purpose. It's not the why.
Exactly. Think of profit like breathing. It is absolutely 100% necessary for survival. Without it, the business dies. Simple as that. But you'd never say the purpose of your life is just to breathe. Profit is the fuel that keeps the engine running, but it doesn't tell you where you're supposed to be going.
So this is the real question, the one that cuts through all the noise. What kind of life is this whole thing supposed to be building for you? Because if you can't answer that, I guarantee the business will start making up its own answers, and you might not like them.
So let's make this practical. You have to ask yourself these foundational questions, and I mean really ask them. What does stability actually mean to you? Is it a number in a bank account, or is it knowing you can take a vacation without your phone blowing up? What are you absolutely not willing to sacrifice? Answering these creates your own personal rule book for your business.
Okay, so once you've answered those questions, you have a destination. But how do you know if you're actually on course? This is where we need to talk about measurement, but probably not the kind you're used to seeing on a dashboard.
This is such a critical distinction. A big revenue number is great. It means the lights are on and the machine is working, but it tells you literally nothing about whether it's aligned with what you actually want. You can have a wildly profitable business that, by your own personal standards, is a complete and utter failure.
Just look at the shift here. We're all programmed to track revenue, growth rate, market share, all that stuff. But what if we started tracking our time autonomy? How much control we have over our own schedule? Or our stress tolerance? Maybe instead of just chasing 20% growth, our real goal is I will not check my email after 6 p.m. These are the metrics that measure the quality of your life, not just the health of your company.
And that's really the whole point. Success becomes about the conditions of your life. It's about the lived, day-to-day experience of running the business. A condition for success might be, I can completely unplug for 2 weeks every single year. Or, my stress level never gets so high that I can't sleep at night. These are real, tangible measures of a business that's truly working for you.
All right, let's get into a concept that feels almost forbidden in today's business world. The idea of enough. And this isn't about being lazy or limiting your ambition. It's about being smart and protecting what matters.
If you don't decide ahead of time what enough looks like, you will never, ever get there. It's impossible. The goalposts will just keep moving. What felt like an amazing achievement last year is just the new baseline for this year, and you end up on this hamster wheel, running faster and faster just to feel like you're standing still.
So what does enough even look like? Well, first, it's a condition, not a specific dollar amount. Second, it's that tipping point where any more growth just means more work and more stress, without actually making your life any better. And third, it's that sweet spot where the business is doing exactly what you designed it to do, without demanding more from you than it gives back.
And let's be super clear about this. Defining enough is not the same as settling. Not even close. Settling is when you give up because you're frustrated. Choosing is an act of power. It's you saying, this was the target I set for myself and I hit it. I won.
Okay,
So we've defined what success is for us, we've figured out how to measure it, and we've talked about the power of defining enough. There's one last piece to this puzzle. We have to talk about the end, because every business has one.
This is just a hard truth. Every single business story comes to an end. It might be a sale, it might be passed on, it might just shut down. The only thing you get to control is whether that ending is intentional, whether you're holding the pen when that final chapter is written.
Thinking about this question from the very beginning completely changes how you operate. Suddenly, your exit strategy isn't some far-off thing you'll deal with later. It's a North Star that guides the decisions you make today. What does a good ending actually look and feel like for you?
Ultimately, a successful exit is defined by your personal goals. Do you want the massive payday from a sale, or do you want to gracefully wind things down? The real measure, though, is whether you walk away feeling complete, not totally depleted. It's knowing that the business did what it was created to do.
So when you boil it all down, what is true success? It's this. It's a perfect alignment. It's when your original intention, your day-to-day actions, the results you're getting, and the way the whole story ends are all singing the same song. That's a business that truly worked for you.
And all of this brings us back to one final, huge question that only you can answer. Why does money matter to you? I don't mean in some abstract theoretical way. What does it actually do for you? Does it buy freedom, security? Does it make you feel validated? Until you can answer that question honestly, money is always going to pretend to be the purpose, and you'll just keep chasing a definition of success that was never yours to begin with.